Miss C's hair appointment. Y'all ready for this? I go home. I have dinner with my family. I'm telling my husband about my day. He's laughing. Of course. They're all gonna laugh at you. It's funny now, but it was not funny then. And then is when I was telling it. And then is when my family would laugh. Ate dinner with the family, the kids, me and my husband went to bed. I'm on my phone. I pull up my email. I got this long ass big email from my boss. She's telling me in this long ass email about what I'm supposed to do tomorrow with her for her hair appointment, okay? I'm reading everything, and it was long, and I was like, what the fuck? How am I supposed to remember all this? And she even apologized. She was like, I'm sorry for the long email, but if you forget something, you can pull up the email, you know, while you're at work. And I read the whole thing, and in the email, it said, she drives. 86, 87, 88. I can't even remember how old she was, but you guys know. I've said it. I think 87, 88. Your old woman is still driving. I was like, yeah. She goes, she still drives, so, yeah, you just get in a car with her, and then she'll just take you to her hair appointment. Did I read that right? I'm supposed to get in a car with this 87-year-old woman, 87. I'm sorry. Are you shitting me right now? So, and then she also said, if you're not comfortable with it, then you can take your own car and follow her. One way or the other, you know. That's the deal. So I get there, I pull up to her house. I'm walking up to the door, right? I noticed something very, very odd when I first walk up because remember how I told you she had a big, huge bolted door and bolted like black screen to where you couldn't, you know, see anything. As soon as I walk up to the door, the door's open. Her main door's open, but the screen is shut. And the 2 days that I've been there, I've never seen that before. It's always been dead bolted. I walk up, I ring the doorbell. You can't see anything inside. She comes walking up to the door and she goes, oh, hello, with like a sweet voice. I couldn't really see her, so I'm like, that's not her. She opens the screen and shockingly it's her. And she's standing there. And she looks me up and down again and she goes, well, don't you look nice? With like the really sweetest voice. And I was like, oh, thank you. I said, you look very, very beautiful because she had on. It was this really like you could tell expensive blouse and black slacks. And she had little heels on and she had her jewelry on and she had her whole face was done with makeup. I've never seen her like that. But of course this was my third day, but. And I said, you look very beautiful. And she goes, thank you. And then she goes, well, we better get a move on. I don't want to be late. And she's like going fast, like around the house. I guess she was looking for her purse or something. I'm like, I'm in shock. I'm literally in shock. And I'm just, probably my jaw was open. That's how in shock I was. I'm just standing there and I said, are we going to leave right now? And I was thinking in my head like, oh my God, what do I do? Do I ride with her? Do I follow her? I'm scared to death. This woman, like, how the hell can she drive? I said, fuck it. I'm going to go with her. It's going to be juicy. So, and then like I'm just going to pray. It's going to be okay. Her whole voice, demeanor on her face, she smiled at me when she first opened the screen door. She had like this sweet little voice like this. And it was nuts. So we go out to the garage. She had a Lexus, one of those SUVs. I noticed there was a 2-car garage. It was her car and then obviously her husband. It was a Ferrari, a red one. I didn't say anything, but you know, I just looked at it. So I got in the car with her and she gets in the car and she opens, you know, the big garage door starts opening. She shuts her door. She gets in and I'm sitting there and she goes, buckle up. I'm not kidding. I am not kidding you. And I was like, okay. What the fuck? She's gonna kill me. So I grabbed my seatbelt and I put it on. Oh, she's being too nice to me. She's going to kill me. She's going to kill me. As soon as she realizes her garage door is up and raised. She had one of those pillow seats for, you know, the car. It was a butt seat and a back seat. So it was like a whole body pillow seat for your car. She sat up so tall in this car. Okay. It was like Mutt and Jeff in the car. It was like this. Here's me and this is her. So I'm literally like this, like just like looking at her because I couldn't believe it. That thing, plus she raised her car seat up. She was so tiny and like little. I guess that's why, but. So she before she puts it in reverse, she turns the music on. And she's like, I'm just like I'm staring forward, but I'm kind of like doing this kind of thing, you know, like. You know, I want her to pull something out of the glove compartment and stab me with it because that's how I felt. So she goes, oh, she looks at me and she goes, what kind of music do you like? Like the sweetest baby doll, like Marilyn Monroe kind of voice. I said, oh, I like all genre. It don't matter to me. Whatever you like. She said, okay. And so she puts on classical music. I'm like, cool. I love classical music. I really do. And she blares it. It made me jump because she just turned it up like 100 notches. It was so loud. And then she puts it in reverse. And her house was kind of like on a hill. So her driveway was at an incline. And so we were at the very top in her garage. So she puts it in reverse and she goes, "Arr!" We start flying back like insane fast for anybody to ever reverse a car, especially hilltop, like on an incline. And I'm literally like this. I'm like grabbing like the oh shit handle up here, down here, wherever I can grab it, and like, you know, and I'm just like, oh my God. And I said, Missy, you're going way too fast. I said, you're scaring me. And then she whips the car around. Not like Dukes of Hazzard or anything like that. And I'm just like, more than you should. You know what I mean? She whips it around and then we go like this. And then she goes, oh, don't be a fuss. I got top grade in my driver's ed class. Bitch, that was 1,000 years ago. What the fuck? And I was like, oh, okay. Every time she talked to me, she turned the music down because it wasn't that loud. But every time I talked to her, she didn't turn it down. She kept it up. But when she wanted to say something and talk, she would turn it down. But she heard everything I said over that loud ass freaking music. It was like nightclub loud. This woman is so no. She turned it back up and we're going down the street. She was a type of driver that drove like this. And I was like this the whole time. And she was going like Mach 1. And I'm like, oh my God, oh my God. She was really starting to scare me. And she would come up, she would tailgate cars and she would come up on them like really fast and then like slam on her brakes. And I'm just like, oh my God, this is like, I'm about to call Uber back. I told her, I said, Missy, you're really scaring me. Can you please slow down just a little bit for me? And she goes, I'm a general's wife. I don't slow down for anybody. She goes, move out of the way. I'm a general's wife. General's wife coming through? She was talking to other traffic, still in her sweet little voice. Her hair place was probably like a 20-minute drive. With her going that fast, 20 minutes, yeah. So it was probably like 45. It was probably like 45 minutes away, to be honest. But we got there in like 20 because of her mad driving skills. And not mad as in cool, mad as in psycho. Okay, so we finally get there and like every stoplight we came up to, I was like a little kid. I was like, are we there yet? Like, are we almost there? Oh, is it oh, is that it? I was like praying. I was literally, I was scared to death. I was praying, God, please let this be it. I kept like taking deep breaths and I was just like, oh God. And she's like, no, it's just a little down past further. Son of a bitch. Every time I would ask that, like a little kid in the back seat, she would always say, nope, not yet. Nope, not yet. I was thinking, what the fuck? Where the fuck is your fucking shit, bitch? We finally get there. We're circling the parking lot. She's looking for a parking spot. Circling and circling. And there's like 4 handicap parking spots up front. But she's bypassing them and we're circling and we're circling. She's like, that's it. She goes, people always come when I want to come here. And now they're going to make me late because I can't find a parking spot. She's like, dag nabbit. I said, Missy, there's 4 up front. And she had handicap license plates. She looks at me and she goes, oh no, dear. You're still really nice in that voice. She goes, we don't park in the handicap. I never have parked in the handicap. I refuse to. I'm not handicapped. I'm very capable of taking care of myself. That's just how she was. And I was like, okay, fine, whatever. So this lady's finally pulling out and she goes, well, it's about time. Like that to the lady. Not like to her face, but you know, like just in the car. This lady pulls out and then we pull in her parking spot. And so then we get out. She's like, she's like this. She gets out of the car and she's like, you know, just like getting all. And I was looking at her like, I was just tripping. I was just tripping off her like, this is okay. This is split personality at first hand. Undiagnosed, but diagnosed by me. Tell me it's not. Tell me it's not. After she's like, you know, doing this with her hair, she shuts the door. She goes around the front of the car and I follow her. And she's like throwing her purse over her shoulder and she goes, oh goodness, I'm such a mess. She's like dusting herself off. There wasn't anything on her. I don't know what she was dusting off. I said, there's nothing on your clothes, Missy. You look very nice. You look very nice. And I was like, I can't wait to see what you look like after your appointment. I can't wait to see your hair. And she just smiles at me so sweetly. She walks in the door. Of course, I open it for her. And she's like this. So she's walking in. Thank you. Every girl, lady, woman, young, old, whatever, every single one of them turned around and said, Missy, at the same time. What's going on here? They all come running up to her. They all start like hugging her and kissing her. She's literally sashaying through the freaking salon like she's at a nightclub. And she's like loving it. She's like, everybody's kissing her, hugging her. She literally does a little dance move across the salon floor. And like, I was the only one in there that didn't even know this woman. Everybody knew her. Like even these young, like probably 16, 17, 18-year-old girls. Really cute, really beautiful girls. Young. Oh my God, Miss C. They all ran up to her and I was like, who are you people? She goes to sit down in her chair. And I sit down like on, the sideline, like the little waiting area where all the magazines are. And I am just, I can't even believe my eyes. I can't believe my ears. I'm just trying to take it all in, you know what I'm saying? I'm just like looking at everybody. Hi. And my uniform, you had to wear scrubs. The uniform said the name on your breast. One of the ladies came up to me and she goes, oh, are you taking care of her today? I said, yes, ma'am, I am. She goes, oh, what a blessing. Isn't she just lovely? Don't you just love her? She's such a sweetheart. I said, yes, indeed she is. I'm asking God in my head, like, is this a joke? Is this like one of those, smile, you're on candid camera? No, it wasn't. It was real. It was a real nightmare. She sits down in the chair. They start doing her hair. I'm gonna pretend all this is not happening right now. I pick up a magazine. I start reading it, right? Or looking at it. But you know me. I wasn't really reading it or looking at it. I was just trying to not to sit there and look stupid. The whole time we were there for an hour and 15 minutes. She was having full-on huge ass conversations with these women. You know how she, only said like 2 words to me and it was so ugly each time, or she screamed at me, you know what I mean? She was having full blown on lovely, funny, hilarious conversations with these women. She's sitting in her chair, just like, oh yes, and like talking and laughing. This literally happened the entire hour and 15 minutes. She's done. She gets up. Everybody's like, oh my God, look at Miss C. Oh my God, you're so beautiful, blah, blah, blah. They're hugging her and kissing her again because they know, she's about to leave. She goes up. And I'm just thinking, the whole time I'm sitting there, I'm thinking, does this woman, is she not humiliated or embarrassed? Knowing how she's been treating me for the past 2 days, and then she totally does transformation of like epic proportions. Is she not humiliated, embarrassed? Does she know that I know that I know that she knows that I know? She knows that I know. You know that I know that I know that you know. She put on a front. This bitch was putting on the biggest front. It wasn't even funny. She goes up to the front to pay. And I stand up because like she came walking over towards me and she looks at me and she goes, I'm ready. I was like, okay. So I got up, went walking up to the counter with her so she could, pay and we can leave. She tipped that woman a $50 bill. Everything was a check. She did not have plastic. She did not have cash. It was all checks. And I'm like watching her write this check out. And yeah, she tipped $50. And that's what she tipped every single time. And then we're going to leave, right? The manager, owner, whatever, I don't know what she was. She came up to me and she goes, are you going to be back here next week to bring her to a hair point? I said, yes, I am. And she goes, okay, we'll see you next week, sweetie. I said, okay. What the fuck is going on here?
What the fuck is going on in here on this day?
Do they know who this woman is? Do they know who she is? In my mind, I'm already thinking she's going to flip on me. She's going to turn the switch now because her hair appointment's done. So we go, I'm like ready for impact. I'm bracing myself. We get in the car and I'm just like, God, what's going to happen next? We get on the main road. She's blaring the music again. We're just driving and then she turns the music down and then she looks at me and she goes, where would you like to eat, dear? My house, please. I want to go home. So I said, it doesn't matter. Wherever you want to eat, I'm not picky. I'll eat anything. I've always just tried to give her the decision making, let her deal with it. She's like, oh, just tell me, what do you like? Oh, excuse me. It wasn't that tone. It was like, oh, just tell me whatever you like. We'll go. I said, no, I promise you, I'm fine. Whatever you want. And I'm thinking, I'm not even hungry. I don't eat this time of day. But I'm like, okay, I'll eat if she's gonna be nice to me, I'll fucking eat the restaurant. Okay. We're driving by and here comes a Subway. And she goes, oh, I just love Subway. She goes, do you like Subway? I said, yeah, I do. She goes, oh, well, we already passed it. You should have told me. I'm like, it's okay. Wherever's good. And she's like, well, okay, maybe one day we'll go to Subway and we'll split a 6-inch. A 6-inch? Split a 6-inch. I didn't say that. Of course I didn't. What the fuck? But you crazy as hell. I ain't splitting no damn 6-inch. What the fuck? I said, okay. So then She just whips in the parking lot of this Italian eatery. And I don't want to give the name because I don't want to give out too much information about her because it'd be easy to, you know, pull up or whatever. She goes, oh, do you like this place? And I said, actually, yeah, I love it. It's one of my favorites. Yes, I do. She's like, okay, good. That wasn't all good. We get out of the car. We walk in. As soon as we walk in, oh, Miss C, the hostesses at the booth. Oh, Miss C, well, don't you look lovely today? I knew I'd be expecting you. It is Wednesday, however. A couple waitresses like noticed she was at the door, so they like came over walking up to her. They hugged her, they kissed her. I'm like, of course. Why don't we just go to the fucking White House? I'm sure the president would do the same thing. This woman was like a social, like, I don't know what she was, but she was scaring me. They said, right this way, Missy. Oh, and who are you? Well, they knew who I was, but they're like, oh, and what's your name? Whatever, you know. I'm like, yes, I'm Kristen. I'm her caregiver. I'm gonna be her caregiver probably for a while. They're like, oh, well, yes, nice to meet you. Okay. They're like, come on in. We sit down and they give us menus. And she goes to walk off, and Missy grabbed her by the arm, and she goes, no, we won't be needing menus today. She's like, oh, okay, I got you. She goes, I already know what we want. I said, oh, okay, we want. So the waitress brings over waters, and we start drinking waters. She won't look at me. Then this guy, this big dude, comes walking over the table, and he's like, Missy, how are you? How are you doing? She stands up, like standing ovation, and she like hugs him. She's hugging him, and she's like smiling so big, and he's, you know, kissed her on the cheek. She sits down. They make small talk for a minute, and then he like introduced himself to me. I said, oh, okay. He was the owner of the restaurant. Big chain, not a small, it's a known big chain. It's not some family-owned hometown kind of restaurant thingy. He's like, yeah, I'm the owner, and Missy and her family are dear good friends of ours, and me and her husband were practically like brothers. I was like, oh, okay. It made sense now. All these people kept, you know, coming up to her and stuff. So he walks away, and I said, wow. I said, that's really awesome, you know. Your husband and him were really good friends. And she goes, mm-hmm. She looks up at me and kind of half smile. Then here comes the food, the waitress. The food. She puts a plate down in front of her. She puts a plate down in front of me. Empty. Nothing on it. Then she pulls out this other plate, and it had a chicken fettuccine alfredo, one medium-sized portion with one bread roll and one salad. Small little dinner portion salad. A lunch portion salad. And the waitress starts cutting everything in half. She gives her half. She gives me half. And when I say this, the pasta portions on each of our plates were about that big. Literally that big. And the waitress cut the roll in half, and the waitress cut the salad in half. So it was basically 3 bites of food and half of a roll and 2 glasses of water. She ordered the lunch special of the chicken fettuccine alfredo, and she had us split it. I didn't have a problem with it because, like I told you guys, I didn't eat lunch or breakfast anyways. But I'm trying not to laugh because I'm just looking at the I'm looking at this food in shock and like awe because I'm like, and this is before I started my channel, so can you imagine now how shocking it would be to me, because I'm used to this, but back then it was just like shocking to me. So I said, thank you so much, this is so nice of you to take me out to lunch, you know. She's like, you're welcome. She's like, and now tell me if you're too full, we'll take some to-go boxes. She didn't even finish her food. She didn't. Nope. And the small little teeny tiny bite that she had left, she asked for a to-go box. Of course I ate everything. I didn't want to be like rude. And I was eating super slow because I didn't want to be like, and then she'd just be looking at me like, you know, call me a name or something. So I was just like chewing really slowly and like pushing stuff around the plate. And she was watching me. She was watching me how I ate. She'd look up at me like every 10 seconds. I was like, oh my God. That was over. And the waitress comes over and she goes, oh, all done? Okay, I'll get that to-go box for you. And I'm reaching into my purse because I was going to pay. And so she sees me stumbling through my purse and she goes, what are you doing with that kind of tone? And I said, oh, I'm getting my wallet. I would like to pay for this meal. And she goes, don't you dare. She goes, put that away. That's when she got snobby with me for the first time during that shift so far. I said, okay, well, thank you very much, but I really wanted to pay. She goes, sorry, don't hit me. Then she pays and we leave. We get in the car and I'm ready for this woman to snap at me. She's driving like a maniac, weaving in and out of cars, tailgating, slamming. The car's brakes on when coming up to a red light. Oh my God. finally another torturous ride home. I was like about to shit in my pants. I was so scared. Like this lady was frightening to drive with. People were honking at her. People were like honk honk and like yelling at her, and like a few people flipped her off because she was crazy like that. She almost ran this one person off the road. I'm not kidding. We get up to the house and we pull in the driveway. She shuts the car off and I get out and she gets out. And she goes in front of the car. You know, I'm on the side. So we go walking in and I turn and I said, Miss C, is that your husband's car? Wait for it. It was like as soon as she got back in that house, or I don't know, I don't understand it. She turns around and her demeanor went from smiling ear to ear, just so bubbly, sweet, and kind, and full of life and energy, and just, you know, just so fun to be around. She stops walking, and when I said, is that your husband's car? She stops walking, and I get shivers up and down my spine. She stopped. She wouldn't even say anything or do anything. She just stopped walking, and her back is still to me. Then she slowly turns around. It was like robotic. It was so scary. It was like she was on like wheels or something. And there's that look again. She's like, evil glare. I can't even do it. She goes, what do you think? Of course it's my husband's car. And don't you touch it. And then she turns back around and she goes in the house. I'm about to Snapchat these bitches in the nail salon, hair salon, whatever the fuck it was. I'm about to Snapchat. I'm a Snapchat host. Snap a hoe chat. Do you see what she is? She is not who you think she is. I knew it. Whatever. So I walk in the house and I close the door. I go in and I put my bag down in my purse. She goes straight to her bedroom. I'm sitting on the bench. She comes back out probably about 15 minutes later. And she walks in the kitchen and she's wearing the same outfit I met her in. The same outfit she wore on Monday. The same outfit she wore on Tuesday. She put it back on again. She took her jewelry off. She took her nice clothes off. She put that haggard outfit that she'd been wearing for 3 days in a row back on. And it looked really dingy. It looked like it hadn't been washed. Like she went from looking so elegant to just looking like a bum, to be honest with you. I said, Miss C, I don't even know why I opened my big fat mouth. But I said, Miss C, it just came out, you know what I mean? I said, why did you change your clothes? You looked so beautiful. She turns around and I'm like, yo fucked. Motherfucker, Kristen, shut the fuck up. Just shut up. And she turns around and she like comes at me and she gets in my face. And of course she's like this, a hair away from kissing me. And she goes, did I ask for your opinion? What are you trying to say? You don't like how I look now? You don't like these clothes I'm in now? And she was just, once she yelled at me, she wouldn't even back up. She'd stay in that like this to me and just like would keep yelling. I didn't ask you for anything. I paid for your lunch. I bought you lunch and now you're gonna put me down? She goes, you can leave now. So then she backs up and she turns around. She goes, oh, well, I really don't care what you like or what you don't like. I said, well, that's not nice. I said, Missy, it's not nice to treat people that way. I said, the way you were acting to those women in the nail salon, how sweet, loving and kind you were. She was glaring at me the whole time I was talking to her. I said, why can't you treat me like that? I don't understand that. They're not even here to help you like I am. They're just there to do your hair. They're not taking care of you. And the one who's taking care of you, you're being so hateful to. I said, I was shocked. The way you were acting in that salon, I was very shocked. I know you are a sweet woman and you can be very nice. You just don't want to be. She goes, you're exactly right. I don't want to be now. Get out of my house. She starts walking to the back porch patio. I had 3 or 4 hours left to my shift was over. I said, Missy, I can't leave yet. My shift's not over. She says, you'll leave when I tell you to leave, and you will leave now. And I said, I can't. She gets up. She grabs me by the arm, and she's like squeezing my arm because I came out to the back patio and I sat down on the chair that I normally always do. She grabbed me by the arm and she pulled me up. And that lady had a grip on her, okay? She goes, you will leave now. I don't care how many hours you have left on your shift. You will leave my house right now. And she put a bruise on my arm. A little tiny bruise with their little bony little fingers. Yeah, that's how hard she grabbed me. So I said, okay. I shoved my arm like that, like so she'd let go of me, like, all right, get off me. Shit. I'm walking out and I said, okay. I will leave. I will just tell my boss that you forced me to leave and I can do nothing about it. She goes, that's right, you can't. And she goes, don't you dare be back here tomorrow. I said, okay, well, let me clock out. She goes, no, you're not. You're not clocking out. Just get your purse, your bag, and get out of here. You've already insulted me. I was like, actually, no, I gave you a compliment. Been always giving you compliments, but I said, I will see you tomorrow. She goes, no, you won't. I won't open the door. So she's pushing me out the door, and I said, okay, bye, I love you. I kind of trip as I'm going out the door, and she slams the door. Yeah. And then I'm just like standing there, and I'm like, did she just beat me up? She just beat me up. I'm going home. I need a beer. I So I get in my car and I instantly call my husband. He didn't answer because he was working. Sometimes he would answer, sometimes he wouldn't. So I just went home and I was like, I walk in the house and I go straight to the fridge and I crack open a cold one and I'm sitting on the couch and I threw my name tag off and I'm like, I'm done with this job. And I started downing the beer. Oh my God. But yes, 4 months I continued with her and it gets even better.